This is Charlie Mike, the podcast. Veterans helping veterans, talking about things happening in the veteran community, things we've experienced and overcome, such as addictions, PTSD, depression, legal trouble, and we also promote veteran-owned businesses. If you're talking about it, we're talking about it. This is Charlie Mike, the podcast.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Charlie Mike, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Raul. Today's a special one. Today is an episode, and this is about our future of the city. I've got Tony Carbone here in the studio, who is currently running for mayor right here in Pearland. Now, look, this is going to be some stiff scripted interview. This is just real conversation. I want people to hear who you are, what you stand for, and what you truly want for this city. Pearland is growing fast. There's a lot of opportunity, but also a lot of responsibility comes with that growth, and leadership matters. So today we're going to talk about your vision, your experience, and why you believe you're the right person to lead Pearland forward. You know, first off, I appreciate you coming in and just spending time with me. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ooh, all right. I'll get started from the beginning. Born and raised here in Pearland. I'm the sixth generation Pearlander, so that makes my girls seventh, which is quite rare. So I was born and raised here on 518, corner of 518 and Harvey, kind of catty corner from the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
It's a used car lot now. But that's the house that I grew up in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, little 900 and something square foot house right there. And so,
how many, you got brothers and sisters?
That's not an easy question. I was raised only child, or was an only child, and then when I was probably 14 or 15, my parents big involved in church. God put this family with ours, and it was, I think, 3 sisters and 3 brothers. My parents would have loved to adopt all of them, but one of them stuck, and so she's my sister. So love her to death. So not an easy yes, no.
Right, I understand.
But that house at one point had 5 people living in
it. 900
square foot, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom that was on a septic tank. So
is it the same building that's on the car lot?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was the house.
Yeah. Wow. Jesus.
Yeah.
So you remember what elementary schools did you go to? Do you remember all that?
I know CJ
Harris.
Yeah. CJ Harris. Okay. Carlston, Jameson, East, Pearland.
Oh, wow.
So that was, I'm sure I botched that, but that was generally the pattern. So that house up front, we had a produce stand. Mm-hmm. So I grew up working with my parents. We were raising hothouse tomatoes back off of Harvey further back in some greenhouses, and so we'd sell the number 2. So they taste better than the perfect looking tomatoes.
Right.
But so we started doing that. That grew into Carbone's Produce, where we sold to retail folks off the street. Then that grew into wholesaling, and so we would deliver produce to all the local restaurants around town.
Nice. How long did y'all do that for?
That was probably 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Through my high school period for sure, because I remember getting up at 4 o'clock, loading the truck, making a couple deliveries, and my dad would drop me off at school on the way to work after we dropped off some produce.
So running a business was just instilled in you, huh, from an early age?
Yeah.
And that hard
I
work.
didn't know that, but looking back, I'm like, wow.
Yeah. That's amazing. I don't meet too many people that were born here in Pearland and still here in Pearland. Yeah. So just imagine the growth and the things that you've seen from your side. Tell me a little bit about that. What do you remember?
I remember a couple big things. I can remember one of the floods that I was walking down the middle of 518 and water was up to my knees.
Jesus.
So that's vivid. And I remember the reconstruction of 518 when it went, I believe, from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. And it's been incredible, the growth on both sides of town.
It definitely is. I had left town for probably about 10 years doing the military and doing different things. And I came back. I didn't even recognize the city anymore. So, man, what is this place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's crazy to just see the growth down Pearland Parkway, the growth on the other side of 288. Just, I guess, 518 in general.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And then you look at Magnolia, McCard,
Right.
Bailey, and finally we're getting some east-west thoroughfares through there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, my parents still got a house on Bailey, and we still call it 101,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep. Yeah.
So I have to say Bailey a lot because a lot of people don't know what 101 or 89, 1128, you know, the number roads.
Yep.
Yes. So what growing up, did you have a profession in mind? Was there something that you wanted to be? What did Tony say? I want to be when I grow up.
No. I mean, I in Pearland High School, I was the nerd, so I was in the computer club all the time, up in the computer lab, and actually that's where I met Crystal. So she was my high school sweetheart.
Oh wow!
I was the president of the computer club, and she was the secretary. Wow. So yeah, we're both big nerds. Didn't know, so out of high school, went to U of H. Still lived in Pearland, but commuted up there to Cougar High, and started in the College of Math, and got up to Cal 2 or Cal 3. Realized I didn't like it, and there wasn't a lot of money unless I was going to go do a PhD and teach. And I didn't see that, so I walked down to Bauer College of Business and figured, math, accounting, might as well.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of stumbled into it. Took a couple of accounting classes, loved it, loved the application of the small business I grew up in, and actually putting it into practice.
Mm-hmm. So you're a numbers guy all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's why I don't like talking.
So you got your family, your mom and dad. You said 6. You're the 6th generation.
Correct.
Jesus.
So my girls are 7.
Yeah. So how is it being in the same city and just watching the growth and then raising your family in it?
It's kind of surreal. I mean, sometimes, I don't know, you're just living your daily life and you don't look up. Then you stop and look at the changes over time. You know, sometimes the city will put together one of those real fast videos that shows the explosive growth and a time lapse. I don't know. It's neat to see the different influences. And I mean, we're one of the most diverse cities in Texas, and it's cool to see that. I was meeting with the Indo-American community and the temple that's down off McLean, and that's celebrating 50-year anniversary here, I think in 28. And I don't know, it's just there's so many different individuals and groups that we tend to live in our silos sometimes, but when you stand back and look at everything, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that the temple. You know, I was here for a few years before I even knew it existed.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't even know.
And
that
then you
it's
get
there.
lost down McLean. You're like, oh, what is that?
Yeah. That's awesome. So you and your wife met during high school.
Yep.
And you knew right off the back she was the one?
No.
No,
we dated for a while. So since you asked, I broke up with her one time. And then she broke up with me 6, 7, 8, 12 times after that.
Yeah.
We got back together at my cousin's wedding, and at that point I knew. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been married?
Oh, don't ask me that on the record.
Yeah, sorry.
3, 2. I'm going to go with 20-ish years. I should probably figure that out.
That's a good answer, 20-ish.
No, probably 22.
22?
Yeah, you don't have to edit that part out. But no, so we got married, went through some infertility stuff, and so had kids a little bit later in life. We had twin girls, and then God has a sense of humor. So 14 months later, we had another one. So we got 3 girls.
Your girl dad all day.
Yeah. Some people ask me what's like. I don't know anything different. Like Yeah, that's what I know.
I'm in the same boat. I have a 21-year-old, and my youngest is about 17 months.
Okay. You got a little spread in there. All right.
Well, I got two 14-year-olds too,
All right.
but yeah.
Cool.
So it's definitely crazy the way life happens.
Yeah.
So me and my fiance, we actually met at Jameson.
Oh, wow.
When we were going through, middle school,
Yeah.
and then we did the whole junior high. We dated a little bit in high school. We went our separate ways. Life's got a funny way of working things out. Yeah.
Wow. So I got to ask, when did you graduate?
I graduated in 01.
Okay.
01.
So I was 98. Crystal was 2000.
Yeah, okay.
So we probably crossed paths.
We probably did.
If you came up to the computer lab.
Yeah,
you did.
I'm sure we did then. Yes. That's awesome. I love hearing that homegrown, homegrown people.
Yeah.
And staying here, doing what you think is best, and trying to be involved in the city.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you started doing city council, when how long have you been doing that?
So this is my 13th year to serve on city council.
Wow.
So I'll fill in the gaps real quick. So graduated high school, went to U of H. Out of U of H, went to Deloitte and Touche, a Big Four accounting firm downtown. Commuted for 4 years, and then I don't know how to say. God brought me back to a firm in Pearland. I remember praying about it, talking to some guys. I can still remember the day I walked through the doors at then the name was Johnston Harrington PC. I walked through the door. I said, "Hey, is Darren Harrington here?" He walks around the corner, I shake his hand, and I say, "Hey, I think God wants me here." And he's like, "Great, we've been praying for a partner." And I'm not the guy. I don't get up and pray on where I'm going to lunch. I don't say God told me to do something, but I look back and that is one of the hallmarks in life that it was just God ordained, and I know where I'm supposed to be.
Wow.
And so that's what got me back to Pearland. And then from there, got involved with Rotary, Chamber of Commerce. I know you're big in the chamber. I got to plug Leadership Pearland.
Yes.
So Leadership Pearland, I did that. After that got me into the chamber. Of course, any CPA is going to get tagged being the treasurer. So I was a treasurer for a couple years. Then I got cornered and moved into the chair-elect and then chairman position. And kind of the defining moment I can remember after me was Sue Flanagan. So Sue, if you go to the chamber, you can see her up there on the edge. Unfortunately, she's got a little cross on her name. She's passed since then, but at that time, she's probably 80 years old, firecracker, would work circles around both of us marketing. But she got up on the stage at the annual gala and gave a speech and said she wanted to, like a base runner in baseball, she wanted a round third, head to home, heading into the grave with a bottle of red wine in one hand, a chocolate bar in the other, and leaving it all on the field. And at that point, Crystal and I were discussing running for council at some point, and it was that speech. We came home that night and made that decision. Like, what are we waiting for? And so that's what was kind of the driving factor to get me to run 13 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
more than you asked for.
No. That's it. So 13 years you've been in council. So are you the longest sitting council member?
As of right now, yes, I believe so. So the council has term limits. Mm-hmm. So there's 3-year terms with 2-term limits, or 2-term limit. So I ran for 6 years, then I stepped down for a few months. Then Derek Reed ran for U.S. Congress, so that opened a seat up. And so then I ran for his unexpired term. So I filled his term, then I get to serve 2 more terms. Mm-hmm. So that's how you get to 13.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so right now up there, longest serving. So I've seen some changes, and
you definitely see some changes, especially in 13 years.
Yeah.
You're involved in a lot of changes.
Yeah.
That's That's amazing. I got hats off to you. You know, it's something I've always thought about, especially because, you know, you want to be the change in the community.
Yeah.
You want this town has yeah. I mean, they see me grow. They seen me mess up.
Yep.
They see me, you know, and then I remember when getting out of the military, before I left, I said, I'm never going to go back to Pearland.
Yeah.
That's what my whole thing was. I'm never going back, never
Yeah.
going back. And when the day I was getting out, I was just like, I just want to go home to Pearland.
Yes.
I just want to go home.
Yeah.
And
No, similar. I never left.
Yeah.
I guess it was probably 1 or 2 months we moved out to Manville. And then once we got married, Crystal and I moved right back to Harvey in 518. So, yeah.
wow. What does your wife do, if you don't mind me asking? If that's
What doesn't she do? So she is currently the president of Pearland ISD School Board. First of all, she's a killer wife and a better mother. We got three girls. They're 9, 9, and 8, and so if you can imagine, that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
So she keeps them in line, tries to keep me in line, and also right now she's playing campaign manager. So she loves the campaign and the politics, and so between all that, she serves on a couple state level boards. She's got a true passion for education. So whenever you're ready to talk about education, she will.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she'll sit here for hours.
You know, I normally don't do this come in and talk like politics or things like that, but it's something that I wanted to, because I know that the impact it has in the community.
Yeah.
And I wanted the community to get to know who you know, who's running.
Yeah.
You know, especially because I know there's a lot of different, sometimes people on this, I don't want to say, is it west side and east side? I don't know.
Mayor Cole would shoot you if you say
Yeah,
west
I know.
side, east side.
He got mad at me one time
Yeah.
when we were talking about it. But so down Broadway and down the other way. So tell me a little bit about this. Oh, so now first of all, let's talk about city council a little bit more. Let's talk about what's some of the changes and some of the big, let's say, hard-hitting issues that have come across on the chamber side, not the chamber side, the council side.
Man, it's across the board, and it's always, I don't say unexpected. It's always very interesting, the different issues that come up and when they come up. You know, we've dealt with signage issues. That was a big hot topic with the chamber back 10, 12 years ago. LED signs. Flooding, of course, after Hurricane Harvey. There's been a big push there. Continuing. I mean, the growth that we've experienced, just trying to keep up with it, and it's a difficult balance, because you've got the citizens of Pearland that deserve and expect this high level of service, and we got to pay for that service, and we can't tax everybody out of house and home. So a lot of times it just comes down to that balance, and that's where you got to look back and what's the core services? What should we be doing? What should we partner with nonprofits and other entities, and kind of staying in our lane and defining that. That's always the big debate. But yeah, so issues. Man, probably one of the biggest ones, budgetary, looking back over the years, is Pearland used to be a full volunteer fire department.
Right.
And so I don't know if Buck touched on that, but
Yeah.
it was full volunteer, but we're a bedroom community. And so when all those volunteers, drive into Houston, who's going to man the stations? And
Right.
so, we now have transitioned to from full volunteer to a combined volunteer and professional. Now we're a full professional, EMS and fire combined. That has been huge to watch and to see all the leadership that's grown up there. But man, them trucks aren't cheap.
I could imagine.
And the personnel on them, they're damn good, but they deserve, and they're paid. They would say they're not paid enough. I would say and argue that they're paid fairly. But again, it's back to that balance of what citizens want and what we can afford and how to get there. But that's probably a big a big one over time. And then just the growth here on the west side with the TERS and what we've been able to do with that financing mechanism. The main one being the Shadow Creek Library. I mean, that place is awesome.
Yeah.
And we were able to do it inside the TERS. So the city had to temporarily fund that, but that debt's going to be paid off with the TERS. And, just the foresight, coming up on 20 years ago to put that mechanism in place. And then the other big one is the surface water treatment plant. Councils prior to me, so 15, 20 years ago, we secured water rights for 10 to 20 million gallons per day, which wrap your head around how much water that is. But we can pull it out of a canal. And don't quote me on all the different canals, but we pull it out of a canal, but we have to process it. And so that's been a big, one of the largest projects we've undertaken, but that's up and running. One of the pipes coming out of there, I think it's a 96-inch water line. Mm-hmm. Like that's a water line that means you can walk through.
Yeah.
That's how much water it can produce. But that's another one, just managing that and the infrastructure. And I don't know, we grow up and you just take things for granted. You take it for granted that when you flush, well, I raised on a septic system, so.
Me too.
So it's not always going to flush.
My parents are still on a septic system. Yeah.
But if you're tied into the city, then you hope it all goes down when you flush, and you hope when you turn the faucet on, it comes out.
Right.
So,
my that's so with the previous, let's say the previous mayors, how well did you know?
You're trying to get me choked up.
Mayor Reed.
Yeah. I mean, he was the mayor all my life.
Mine too. Yeah.
And so, just a genuine statesman. I served with him for probably close to 10 years in different forms and fashions on different committees. And, man, he loved Pearland. He bled Pearland. And, Mayor Cole has bronze shoes on his desk of Mayor Reed's because he's got some big footsteps to follow in.
That's the truth.
Yeah, and so it was, serving with him gave me really good perspective, and then having Mayor Cole come in, good, different, as we knew he would be, but certainly it's been two quality guys I've been able to look up to. Mm-hmm. If I can follow in their footsteps, great.
Definitely.
That's I want to do the best I can.
So with I'm gonna tell you a funny story with Mayor Reed. When I was younger, he used to just I used to run into him at different places, and then when I actually got going and started doing things on the right path, he came up to me one time. I was like, "Hey, son, it's good to see you on this side." Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, "Okay, yes, sir, I got you."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So, and I actually got to do the 21 gun salute at his funeral. Really? I was with the VFW, and we had the honor of doing that. So that's something that that was a tough funeral. Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes, sir. With so doing city council for 13 years, and then why now? Now you're running for mayor of this beautiful city of ours.
Why now? A lot of prayer. Mm-hmm. A lot of prayer. I mean, as you know, Matt Sebesta, the county judge, he decided to retire. So that opened it up, and that kind of cascaded to Mayor Cole running for judge. And we've got a resign to run provision. And so the seat was open. And after a lot of prayer, a lot of wise counsel, we decided now is the time. Yeah. Excited for where we are. I've seen a lot. I got to serve with a lot of good people. And when I not always agreed with them, and that's okay. Like, that's one of the things I don't feel old, but like the more I talk, I make myself sound old. Like, I enjoy having agreeable disagreements.
Right.
When stuff always goes, so when I first got on council, it was a 5-person council, 5-member. And so there was a lot of 4-1, 3-2 votes or 2-3. And we could almost cuss each other out on the dais respectfully and then go outside and shake hands.
As it should be.
Yeah. And so we've lost some of that over the years. One thing I always remind myself is we all have in our heart what's best for Pearland. We may disagree sometimes, but we're all wanting to head in the same direction. And that's what I hope I can bring is just help to facilitate a dialogue. Because the longer I do it, the more respect I have for the council as a body. Sometimes I'm on the losing end of a vote or the winning end. But at the end of the day, you got to respect that that's the body that's made that decision,
right? And
move forward. And I've said that. I've said that to. I serve on a bunch of other different boards. Education Foundation. I think they think I'm nuts because I always got excited when we had a meeting and then somebody spoke up and disagreed. Like, let's have the dialogue. Let's have it civilly. And I don't care if I'm on the winning or losing side. Just let's talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of times people forget that part, and it's okay to disagree.
Yeah,
but let's shake hands and hug afterwards and just go about our life.
And that's tough today's social media.
Yeah,
you can hide behind a keyboard and say some mean stuff, and
people do.
They do, but at the end of the day, they might be fired up for something, but you got to sort through and figure out what's underlying it, because somewhere under there's a real concern and you want to address it. But a lot of times just the visceral response is to shout back. Yeah. And that's not who we are as a society. That's not where we want to be. I want to truly understand. I still might disagree with you.
Right.
But at least I want to have that conversation and understand.
Yeah. Are you ready and able to take some of that backlash that sometimes comes with the position? I know I saw with Mayor Cole, and not everybody agreed with what he did, or what he's done. Well, I think he did an amazing job, and hats off to him.
Yep.
But it's just, especially on social media.
Yeah. You got to have thick skin. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're not always going to agree, and I hope to be able to explain why. You might not agree of where the tax rate is or where our debt level is, but let me add some facts and tell you how we got there. You still can be horribly upset, but at least let's have the discussion. We are here because of A, B, and C. Why are our water rates here? Because of this, this, and this. You're not going to like it any more or any less, but at least let's add some facts to the discussion. And a lot of times what I've seen, and I've been caught up in it before, you think it's the evil city that is doing this. They're not giving me the permit. They're taxing me out of house and home. Whatever it is, that city's run by people. Just normal, regular day people, me and you. And nobody has it out to screw this citizen or this small business or prevent them from. No, there's reasons behind it.
Right. And
getting to the root of that, and if there is, let's root it out. If there's a bad actor, shoot, we're done. But that's not the case. And what I've learned more and more, there's two sides to every story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
How they say two sides and then the truth.
Yeah. And I'll copy Crystal and the Pearland ISD. We're Pearland proud, but not Pearland perfect. We always have room for improvement. I hope my track record would show that we're improving, but we're not perfect. And if you got issues, reach out to someone on council, reach out to City Hall, pick up the phone, send an email. Screaming on Facebook, it's human nature that people don't want to. If somebody's going to respond, they're going to want to scream back and be defensive.
Right.
And that's we're trying to show and show something different in that regard. But if you got issues, pick up the phone. We'll get to it and figure it out. This recent chlorine in the water is a prime example. Everybody wants to post, and I'm not making light of it, but you want to post a picture of your yellow bathtub. But when you follow up and say, what's your address, you have trouble getting that.
Right.
If we can do a better job at getting that address to Public Works, they will go flush the line and not resolve the issue, but make it exponentially better. And I don't know, there's something there. And I don't know where we're headed.
No.
I'll get off that soapbox.
No, that's it. So, I jump in, listen to a city council meeting, been to a few of them, and they get pretty debated and pretty heated sometimes. My question to you is, no, I was going to ask something silly. But
go for it.
I was going to say, how do we stop the car washes from coming into Pearland?
Well, Monday night we did.
Yeah.
That's you ask in jest, but that's it's a fundamental issue, and it's a tough one generally because we're a zoned community, and so the zoning is there to protect us from looking like Houston or Pasadena.
Right.
But at the same time, we've got landowner rights, and that's just the balancing act. And a lot of people say we don't need any more development at all. Cool, but if you own the land that was the next one up to develop, how does that make you feel? You're taking value away from that family, and so balancing that, and it's always a pendulum. There was gas stations were coming in all over the place, so we put some limitations around there, and we haven't seen those come back as much. We're kind of seeing it on car washes. I'm a CPA. I can talk about the tax effects of why the car washes are in high demand and all that tax strategy, but there was a high demand for those in the secondary market, and that's driving prices up. And so you got folks out there trying to develop it, and it's a balance of kind of the free market property owner rights and the community. And personally, I lean on property owner rights, but you got to listen to the community.
Yeah.
And when the community comes out and consistently says something, that's why this past Monday night there was I think it was Quick Quack there on 518 across from the Dixie Farm Walmart.
Oh yeah, I saw the sign.
So they, through some technical issues, they didn't get their permits pulled in time. So they came back and said, hey, we need to renew this conditional use permit. And it failed 0 to 7 because the Quick Quack there on 35, you can go back and listen to the audio, but they were horrible neighbors during construction. They've got drainage issues on the site. I got calls when they had folks dancing in the medians and duck suits trying to get people to pull in.
All day.
Yeah. And so that's not Pearland.
Right.
And so, when they came back, unfortunately for them, but it was a 07 vote. And so, there's those are tough ones.
Oh yeah, I was cracking the joke, but that's good. So now they're not able to build on the Harkey site, right? Or how does that work? How would you said that it was 07? So CUP. It's called a conditional use permit. So it's in place for high intense uses. So the big ones are gas stations, car washes, vape stores, all those. And it's a process. It's a conditional use. So that means that you can't just go do it by right. Okay. So if you own a commercial piece of property, you can open a nail salon or a mattress store by right because it's not that intensive a use. Right. People don't like them. They think we have too many. But at the end of the day, it's not affecting neighbors around it.
So that's by right. By conditional use is when you have to have a separate process because it's more intense. And so that conditional use permit expires after a certain amount of time if they didn't get their permits pulled. And so they didn't get their permits pulled. They came back before us, and we did not renew that conditional use. And so I don't know what their plan is, but they cannot move forward unless they come back and get approval. It's unfortunate, but be a good citizen once you get here.
Right. And yeah, that's it. I mean, if that, I'm sure if 35 went a little bit, went better than that, that wouldn't have been an issue.
Correct.
So I mean,
and it didn't help. They didn't have a good they didn't have a corporate representative there to defend anything. And that's the way it goes.
You think they thought they was just going to get pencil whipped?
I think
done?
so. Yeah. Typically those would be.
Yeah.
But given the pushback we've heard from the citizens and the issues with the other project,
right?
Yeah, that's why we vote.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Actually,
yeah.
But I'm loving that Whataburger that's over there, though.
Yeah. Hadn't been through there yet.
Yeah. So that's so with let me tell you. So 10 years ago, or let's say 10 years ago, when you started with city council, did you imagine the growth that you're seeing currently? Did you imagine that we'd be placed in, with growth in general,
right,
and being placed at the top,
top city in the state of Texas and top third in the nation?
Right.
No.
It's amazing.
No. Not at all. And it's kind of surreal. I'm not taking any credit for it at all, but I'm along for the ride. And to look up and see that stat, it's incredible because we strive to do better every day. And in our house, especially during crazy times like campaign and tax season, and you get overwhelmed, we tell the girls, you got to do the next right thing. And I think that's what council and staff have been attempting to do. We miss the mark sometimes, but what's the next right decision, balancing tax rate and planning and everything else. And and one stat doesn't change anything, but it's kind of surreal to look up and get that recognition. But at the same time, like I said, we're Pearland proud, not Pearland perfect.
Yeah,
and so we've got room to grow and always to get better.
Yeah. With so what is your, let's say, what are you running your campaign on? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Kind of the four big priorities. Number one is public safety. You can't, if we're not safe, I don't care how green the parks are. I don't care about streets. If you're not safe stepping outside or going to shop,
right,
we got issues. So public safety. And I believe that's a core fundamental service of local government, period. So got to take care of public safety. Next up is infrastructure. We've got let's call it the new side, the West End, Shadow Creek Ranch area. In some ways, it feels like, hey, that's the new side of Pearland. That's getting to be 20 years old. And so we've got to make sure that we've got the infrastructure taken care of, because our new infrastructure is fixing to be old and require repairs. And so taking care of that, whether that's water, sewer, streets, drainage. Drainage is the third priority, is flood mitigation and working through that. And that's an interesting one. I could talk for about 30 minutes on that. After Harvey, and if I can tell you a quick story.
Yes, please.
So we got the twins on the ground. So we started kind of in the middle of Pearland, moved west to over by Dawson High School. So right down the street from the PD. Hurricane Harvey comes in. I got two girls under a year old, and my wife's 8 months pregnant, and Harvey hits. And so trying to take care of them. Also, because I was so close, I was able to sneak down to the second story of the police department Emergency Operations Center and see what the men and women were doing to take care of the citizens. I mean, you've got police and fire, but you have public works. And so you had public works drivers driving dump trucks with fire and PD in the back rescuing folks. And I mean, that's seeing that in operation kind of puts everything in perspective, and it kind of leads into flooding and drainage and whether we're never going to be able to prevent that much rainfall from having catastrophic effects, but we can do better.
Right.
So out of Harvey came ultimately in 2021, we passed a fairly large bond program that focused on drainage. But leading up to that, there was a big committee work group of diverse cross-section across Pearland that came together to ferret out. I think we had like $250 million worth of projects to sort through and rank and figure out what ultimately to take to the voters. And so had the opportunity to serve through that. And again, on that one, there's some folks I completely polarize and disagree with them, but we were able to have a respectable debate and hash it out. At the end of the day, we all agreed these are the 15 or 20 projects we're taking to the voters. And so from there, we go through to the 2021 bond referendum, and we're still consistently working through that. And so that's a long way to say that's the third priority is on the flooding side, all with the asterisk or caveat, we can only do so much till the Corps works on Clear Creek, because all our water runs down to Friendswood. Mm-hmm. Clear Creek starts somewhere over here in a little stream, right to the west side of Pearland. And so until we get that and we can get the water cleared out to the Gulf, we're going to make incremental improvements, but that'll be the big push. So that was the third priority. The fourth priority is making and keeping Pearland affordable. So we got these three massive priorities, but at the end of the day, like I said earlier, we can't tax people out of house and home. Right. And that's a house and home as well as business. And there's always the competing business versus residential, and the more relief you do on one side, it affects the other. And so balancing all that with kind of keeping our focus at the core and delivering the service to the expectations that our citizens deserve. Right. I love fielded an issue a couple weeks ago, and it was somebody was upset that the grass wasn't replanted in their yard, and it kind of comes off a little odd. Yeah, but they had a water main break in front of their house, and we were out there that same night, dug up the yard, the street, got it repaired, and it took a month or two to get the sod laid back out there. Right. And at first I thought, man, we got bigger fish to fry, bigger issues. But you know what? That's the level that folks deserve, and that's what they seek, and I love it. Like you talk to PD, and they get they'll have citizens call for what you'd think are small things, but that's the level of service that we deserve, the citizens deserve and expect. And so balancing all that, keeping it affordable, that's the kind of the fourth priority. And that's where my background in being a CPA and having the history with the city. Again, you might not like the results, but I at least hope that I can sit down and explain to you how we got here and what we've done to improve over time.
That's good to hear. I'm excited to see this city continue to grow and just do great things. I've always been a fan here. I talk highly about Pearland and the PD. I've had my ups and downs with them, and I still talk real highly about them.
So have you done the Citizens Police Academy?
I have not, but I did see it. All right. I did see it. And I'm a big fan of the hard work they do. I see the firefighters out there all the time as well.
Yeah.
And we have quite a bit of accidents. And I see those as well. What's your vision? Tell me what you see.
My vision for Pearland. I think we're on the right trajectory. And I want to keep the ship headed in the right direction. Stay focused on those 4 key priorities. I think if you stay in that box, we're going to continue to head in the right direction. Mm-hmm. There's going to be stuff that comes at us, whether it's opportunities, challenges. But I trust back to council and the body itself. I trust that the 7 elected members up there will make the right decision. And what I hope is I can bring leadership to help navigate that dialogue. And I trust I trust the process. I trust what they're doing. City staff gets bashed all the time. We got some good folks in city staff that are leaving it out there from top to bottom, from police, fire, public works. You look at some of the public work calls that the guys have to go on, and when it's freezing outside and they're playing around in a big pit full of water because the water main broke. So my vision is just to continue that good path and be a good representative of the people, be a cheerleader for the city. And then also the big piece of being mayor is also intergovernmental relations, working with state reps, senators, HGAC, neighboring mayors, because we're in this Houston-Galveston region, and a lot of our issues are bigger than us.
Right.
And at the same time, you go down to Brazoria County, they look up here at Pearland and they think we're part of Houston. And but you talk to the sheriff's department and you talk to law enforcement, and they need us to hold the line from Houston. And so working with the partners in the region to help keep us on the right track.
That's so. With what do you feel currently is one of the biggest challenges that Pearland is facing?
It's the squeeze, the affordability.
Yeah.
It's delivering again the high level of service at an affordable price and managing through that. Whether we're talking property tax rates or we're talking water rates. That's just keeping that in check. At the same time, keeping our eye on the future in terms of infrastructure and making sure that we're taking care of what we need to today so it doesn't come back to haunt us X many years later.
Yeah. That's I love the fact that you're looking at a lot of things from the number aspect. I guess that's kind of who you are. Yeah. Yep. But that's always a good thing. With the growth of Pearland, how do you? I mean, it's crazy.
It is, and what's kind of been a curveball over time from a city planning standpoint is, we develop master plans for PD, for fire, for water, for sewer, and it always looks to the surrounding area, the ETJ. But then the state kind of changed the rules on us. Imagine that several years back that made annexation much more difficult, and so that's caused us to have to revisit some of this. We don't necessarily need to provide for an extra 40 square miles of ETJ because the odds are we're never going to annex that, and so. Keep an eye on that.
I guess being like, if you were not if you were, but like if the previous councils many years ago, I guess was to get more of the land, before it became what it is, we would probably be. I mean, like, because I know one of the biggest concerns they say is like the building. They're building everywhere. They're building this and this, but I mean, there's.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I've got some ideas on that in terms of open space and parkland, and the city has acquired some additional parkland through a creative strategy, and so continuing to lean on that, because yes, everybody wants that, but at the same time, if they owned a piece of property.
I agree.
Then they're going to want to develop it. And if we come in and say no new development, we're killing these folks' investments. And,
Right.
So it's that balancing act. And so at the same time, holding the development to high standards.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a balancing act.
Yeah, that's with I know another big complaint is they talk about the traffic. That's something that everyone talks about. I mean, I don't mind it. I love the quiet time, but it is what it is.
Don't know we're ever going to solve it.
Right.
And not to go back to zoning.
No,
but, we've got McCard, Magnolia, Bailey, and then 518, all the east-west corridors.
Mm-hmm.
And so, getting folks east-west through the city, we got to give them a reason to get off of 518. And so that's where some of the rub has come and will come when you talk about zoning cases on McCard or Magnolia or Bailey, because we got to get some more commercial there's an argument to get commercial development onto those to take some relief off of 518. And so, TxDOT's coming through with 518 expansion from 288 through to kind of the edge of Old Town Site, or Cullen, and then Cullen to Old Town Site. Eventually, it's going to be from there all the way to Friendswood.
When TxDOT comes in like that y'all can't say anything, right? Or how does that work?
There's technically always public comment.
Right. But is it effective?
Because TxDOT might listen. Yeah, sure it is. No, it's what is effective, and what we've done is not fighting the project, but trying to work with it.
Right. Okay.
So we've got the Economic Development Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll come in beside the TxDOT project and say, hey, let's make sure we're cognizant of these business issues. Let's make sure that when you come in and your standard cross section of this street is going to be X, well, can we team up and make it look better? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a TxDOT project. We'll do the best we can to work with them.
Right.
One of the byproducts is that 518 construction is going to push people to McCard, Magnolia, Bailey. So it'll be interesting to see kind of habits of how people traverse east-west after that.
Yeah, I definitely started using McCard more, especially coming from that side of town to this side of town. It's kind of a lot easier to just jump right there. So with
one more thing on traffic,
please,
I forgot to mention. Kind of excited. Met with the traffic experts about a month ago, and AI is infiltrating everything. We're working and going through some pilot tests and observing some other cities. Instead of having traffic lights be physically programmed, having a AI component that can start to learn travel patterns and know that, okay, during this period of time, you've got school traveling this way, so we're gonna defer to that timing pattern more so, and so that's coming to more efficiently get traffic through.
Wow,
which that's what I love about the city. You can dive down into anything. It's fascinating. It's fascinating the power that's in those silver boxes. And what works and what causes them to flash red, and how do we reset that, to how do we program the timing and with the cameras and through all that. So at some point we will start to see some relief from the AI side, but you got to proceed with caution.
Right.
And so we don't want to be kind of the first adopters.
Oh yeah, you never.
So let's let Sugar Land or Galveston or somebody else test it. And if it's successful, then we'll start implementing it.
You never want to be number one.
Yeah.
Well, in that. Yeah. Pearland has always been a safe place, and I love that about it. And, that's why I don't think I leave Pearland unless I go to a sporting event, at NRG, Toyota Center. And it's true because everything is here. How do we keep it safe?
Keep it safe, affordable.
It's safe,
affordable. We could double our police force,
right?
But that's going to be a huge impact on our tax rate. One of the key things that PD's done very well is leveraging technology. They've got when it was rolled out, it's one of the first ones in the nation for the unmanned aerial vehicle. So they can launch them from a couple of fire stations, from the police station, and get eyes on a scene quicker. The flock cameras, they are probably a hot topic. I'll probably get blowback from this, but what they can do in terms of tracking when a crime's committed, to be able to quickly dive in, and if something happened to you and they said it was a white Chevy headed this way, they can hone in on that to get that evidence. But even more importantly, and again, I know I'll get tons of flack for this, but it reads license plates just like some of our police officers' cars do.
Right.
And it alerts if it's a warrant. And so Pearland's always been known as the safe city. And, HPD, I'd always joke, HPD will run them down 288 because they know Pearland will stop them. Well, Pearland's starting to get the reputation of don't go through there if you got a stolen car or you've got a warrant out, because that flock will alert any units in the area and they'll get on them.
I think that's a good reputation.
I like it.
Stay out of here.
We can debate other things, but no, I think it's great. And so leveraging the technology to get more bang for our buck, and we're also doing a lot more around data and analytics to make sure we've got the officers where they need to be, where they need to be, when they need to be. And so, that's a shameless plug. I am endorsed by the Pearland Police Officers Association and the Pearland Professional Firefighters Association. And so had to get that in there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You said you were talking about the aerial, the unmanned.
Yeah.
I see them training over there off of I think it's Walnut and behind the VFW. Yeah. Yep. They're always out there training, so that's awesome to see.
Yeah.
How are we going to continue to, with all these bigger businesses coming into town, just continue to support small business?
Oh, that's tough. I said I was born and raised in the chamber. And so my heart is for the small business. Back in the produce stand days, it was the evil city. And I can remember if a strong wind came in and blew down a sign, we'd have to go put it back up on the weekend before the city saw it because we're out of compliance. And so we've done some things to get better. At the same time, we've still got room to grow. Our big guys that come in Lower Kirby that are paying millions of dollars for the consultants and know the formal process, they don't have many issues. It's the small mom and pops that don't want to go pay somebody $20,000 to hold their hand through a process.
Right.
So right now we're rewriting the UDC, and that is it was originally written by attorneys, and it just smacks of attorney speak through the whole thing. And this definition, you got to go 12 pages back to this definition, to this chapter. And so we're going through that process right now, trying to make it more user-friendly to help small businesses be able to grow and expand. And then really working with the chamber through the innovation hub. The chamber holds the BREP contract, business retention and expansion. And so continuing to lean on that. But I tell you, the tax base is nice when the big boys come in too.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And what falls off of them for our small business.
The innovation hub you spoke of, and they're actually right here in Spacious.
Yeah.
So we love having them here, and they do a lot of amazing work.
Yeah.
So that's amazing to see. I have a question. How do you feel about the Old Town revitalization?
This is the third plan, maybe fourth plan.
Mm-hmm.
We've intentionally tried to keep it onto some actionable projects this time. And I think constantly what you've heard from council is we don't want to waste money on another plan unless we're going to be able to execute.
Yeah.
And so that's what I hope we look up and is different this time than prior times. Why do I think it's different? I kind of get excited. You look at what Sullivan Brothers is doing with those they look like row houses there in the Old Town side.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping that the rooftops will help some commercial development. The chamber puts on, I think they call it Dinner on Grand. That was one of the most favorite events I've been to last year. They shut the street down right there in front of Zelensky Park. The weather was absolutely perfect, and legit, you had dinner on Grand. Magnolia Cajun Comfort catered it. It was just an awesome night, and it really gave you a vision for what's to come. In turn, I think they call it a festival street, where it's easily shut down, and you can come in and have weekend festivals. So it's exciting. The execution, it's going to be in the details. Going to be the devil's in the details, and the execution will be. We'll have to keep our eye on, but it's pretty exciting.
That's amazing. I love the fact that is even happening. What is some of the concerns that you have coming in? What is something that you see that you want to change? Or I don't know necessarily change.
I want to be. I'm accessible. I live here. I work here. I don't leave Pearland. Like you, unless I'm going to NRG or going to a game or something, I don't leave Pearland. So I'm accessible, and I want to hear other sides. I want to take it on any issue. It always feels like it's a us versus them, and it. I don't know if that's just where we are as a society, but let's sit down and have a honest conversation and talk about the facts. And I don't know. I firmly believe, and maybe I'm naive, that if two parties can sit down and you can explain the other side, at least you can walk away with an understanding. That's some of the toughest times I have on council, is when I can't even understand why they approach it that way.
Right.
Like that I will lose sleep over. Like, I don't care if we agree or disagree, but I always want to be able to argue the other side. Probably didn't answer the question.
No, you actually answered my next two questions.
Sweet. Yes.
Yeah. So my next question was going to be like, how do you engage with the residents? How are you going to engage with the residents to keep them informed?
Yeah.
You said you're accessible. I'm
accessible, always here. My cell phone's out there. More people have it. I'm accessible. I'm in the community. I don't leave.
Right.
I'm at not every event, but that's a good thing. I ran for council, and then Crystal ran for school board. We're out there. We're normal people. We're not public figure like we are, but we're normal people. You got an issue, holler at us. Like, let's talk about it as rational adults. And if there's something we can do, we will. Sometimes the city's not going to solve it. The school's not going to solve it, but let's have the discussion. Maybe it's a nonprofit. What Crystal's awesome about doing it is putting people together. Hey, you have this need. Oh, wait, there's this organization over here that can help fill it. And I don't know, bridging that gap and having the relationships. I don't know. That's I don't want to say difference. That's where I want to do better. We can always do better. Right. And I think it comes down to the communication piece.
Why should the Pearland residents vote for Tony?
I mean, clearly I'm not the most well-spoken. I care. I love Pearland. I feel like Pearland raised me, and I want to give back. I want Pearland to raise my girls. And so you're seeing what you're getting. I'm not one person here and somebody else, and love to sit down and have conversations. We're people. Like, we're doing the best. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. City's not perfect. School's not perfect, but we can always do better. And I think coming with that mindset, and we're at a place, and my priority is being the husband and the best father. Done. Period. If I can be the leader of Pearland, I want to be the best leader. If that's what the voters decide, but it's not going to get to my head. Like, right. We're just people, and that's what we remind our girls all the time. Hey, it's just a title. We're council. Yeah, your mom's the president of the school board. Your dad's city council. No, we're people.
Yeah.
Like, so we're accessible. We're here, and real, and ready to engage. I don't like you got the national politics that come all the way down to the local level, and it sucks. Right. Like, if your toilet doesn't flush, that's not a Republican or a Democrat issue. Like, and that's the frustrating part. And I've seen it. I mentioned Derek Reed ran for Congress. He was on the Democratic ticket. At the same time, Greg Hill was on the Republican ticket, and good friends with both of them, and both sides suck. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
And that's, I think more and more people see that, and you go to social media and this far side screaming at this far side. In the middle, you got people that just want their stuff taken care of with some common sense. Yeah. And that's what I hope to bring. Have the conversation, add some common sense.
That's amazing to hear, to be honest with you. I look forward to it, and I wish you the best. When is voting, and where, or not where, but when is voting? So
early voting starts April 20th.
April 20th.
And it runs, that's on Monday. It runs through the following Tuesday. And then election day is May 2nd.
May 2nd?
Yep.
So y'all be sure to get out there and vote. Do your research. Definitely, I'm looking forward to seeing what Tony does for Pearland in the future. It was great to meet you and talk a little bit. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, thank you for the time.
No, I appreciate you.
Kind of a little anxious getting behind the mic, but
you're a better speaker than you think you are.
Well, I hope I delivered some value to the listeners. We're accessible. If you got issues, we're accessible. The city's accessible. The school's accessible. Reach out. Screaming on social media doesn't do you any good. We try to respond as much as we can. But if you got an issue you want to deal with, pick up the phone, call me, shoot me an email. Right. Like, let's get to the bottom of it. Anyway, I'll get off that, but I truly appreciate your time.
No, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Tony, I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to sit down with me and have a real conversation. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. And most importantly, get out and vote. Early voting begins April 20th. So get out and vote. And voting day is on May 2nd. This is our community, our future, and our responsibility. Again, as always, Charlie.
Thank you all for listening to Charlie Mike the podcast. This is me, Soldier Hard with Redcon One Music Group, and we out.